Let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. While politicians in Germany are talking about sending their own soldiers to Ukraine, their country is literally falling apart from within. We're talking about a 28% collapse in education quality, violent attacks on Americans trying to protect women, and integration programs that are nothing but expensive lies costing taxpayers millions. If you're new here, I'm Andrew Meet Rich. I used to work inside a state-run media outlet, saw how stories were twisted to fit the narrative, and I walked away. Now I'm independent. I speak freely, and I tell you what really matters. What's happening in Germany right now is a masterclass in political hypocrisy and system failure. And if you think this doesn't affect the rest of the world, you're dead wrong. This is about the complete breakdown of law and order in one of Europe's most powerful nations. Here's a story that will make your blood boil. A 21-year-old American citizen, Andrew Pace, was brutally attacked with a knife in Dresden after he stepped in to protect two women from harassment on a tram. This young man, doing what any decent person would do, ended up with serious injuries. But here's the kicker that shows you everything wrong with Germany today. The attacker? A 21-year-old Syrian who, according to the victim, was an illegal migrant and known drug dealer already on police radar. And guess what happened to this violent criminal? He was released within minutes because he's not a German citizen. You heard that right, within minutes. Andrew Pace is asking the right question. Where is law and order in Germany? He believes the legal system only works for Germans, not for foreigners. And honestly, looking at this case, can you blame him for thinking that? The main suspect who actually stabbed him is still walking free, still out there. But wait, it gets worse, much worse. We're now learning that every sixth migrant who arrived during Merkel's open border disaster between 2014 and 2016 has already received a German passport. That's 17% of them, folks. And here's the twisted part. Once they get that passport, they disappear from migration statistics and show up in crime reports as Germans. Think about what this means. The real crime statistics involving migrants are being systematically hidden from the German people. When these individuals commit crimes, they're counted as German criminals, not migrant criminals. This is statistical manipulation at its finest, designed to hide the true impact of Merkel's policies. Out of roughly 1 million migrants who flooded in, only about 17% left the country. Two-thirds of them, mostly from Syria and Afghanistan, are supposedly employed now. But here's the reality check. Only 20% have full-time employment. The rest are stuck in low-skilled jobs, if they're working at all. And the consequences? Since 2015, terrorist attacks and other serious crimes in Germany have noticeably increased. The experts are saying this directly correlates with the uncontrolled influx of foreigners. But the ruling politicians? They're still ignoring this deep, long-term social problems that are tearing German society apart. Now, if you're finding this information valuable, hit that like button and subscribe. I need your support to keep bringing you these uncensored reports that mainstream media won't touch. Consider becoming a channel sponsor, because independent voices like mine depend on viewers like you who care about the truth. Meanwhile, what is Vice-Chancellor Lars Klingbeil doing? He's hinting that Germany might send German soldiers to Ukraine. In an interview, he declared that money should not be an obstacle to Germany's contribution to security guarantees for Ukraine. Money should not be an obstacle, he says. This is the same Klingbeil who, as finance minister, recently sent out what they're calling an austerity ultimatum, demanding strict budget discipline because of a deficit running into tens of billions of euros for 2027. So let me get this straight. They don't have money for their own infrastructure, their own citizens, their own problems, but when it comes to foreign military adventures, suddenly money is no object. The publication notes that sending German military to Ukraine would obviously be considered a priority and wouldn't fall under budget cuts, unlike funding for domestic infrastructure. This tells you everything about where these politicians' priorities lie. They're secretly preparing for military involvement while their own country crumbles. These statements from Klingbeil show that the government is ready to spend billions on foreign policy adventures, even when internal financial problems threaten social obligations and the welfare of their own citizens. This is insanity masquerading as leadership. But the real catastrophe is what's happening to German children in schools. A new report on the state of schools in Germany shows that education quality has fallen by 28% compared to 2013. Let that sink in. 28%. That's not a decline. That's a collapse. Even more dramatic is the situation with integration and educational opportunities, where the decline was 43.7%. The head researcher directly states that the turning point came in 2015. He's not beating around the bush. The massive influx of migrants in 2015 overloaded the school system, and authorities couldn't find quick answers to new challenges. The result? 30 to 40% of school children now show serious gaps in knowledge and no longer meet minimum standards, especially in reading. Think about what this means for Germany's future. An entire generation is being educationally destroyed because politicians refuse to acknowledge the limits of their system. And what's the government doing about skilled worker shortages? Foreign Minister Jochen Wadephul is in Indonesia, actively promoting increased immigration of specialists from that country to fight labor shortages in healthcare. He visited colleges and German language courses, emphasizing the importance of hospitality culture. During the visit, an agreement was signed to open 4 more German language courses funded by Germany. Sounds great, right? Wrong. Here's the key problem that nobody talks about. Qualifications of Indonesian specialists are not recognized in Germany, so they can only work as assistants. So this politician is advertising immigration of people who cannot fill the vacancies they're supposedly coming for. This case clearly demonstrates how German politicians engage in symbolic gestures and political PR, creating the appearance of solving problems instead of dealing with real and effective migration policy. Speaking of fake solutions, let me tell you about the integration scandal in Baden-Württemberg that costs taxpayers 1.8 million euros annually. The integration through training program finances about 50 so-called guardians who help migrants find work. Sounds reasonable, except it's complete fraud. An insider working in this program revealed that success reports are half-truths, lies, and outright fraud. The problem is that guardians only supervise migrants during the first 6 months of training, and nobody tracks whether they complete the program. The ministry admitted it doesn't have data on the number of graduates. Even worse, due to data protection rules, guardians could simply invent fictional clients and companies, then report them as successfully employed. The insider explained that one employee's success was their supervisor's success, creating fertile ground for falsification. Despite these exposures, Economy Minister Nicole Hofmeister-Kraut from CDU considers the program successful and plans to extend it until 2026, increasing funding to 4 million euros. 4 million euros for a program that's been exposed as fraudulent. This is a perfect example of how government programs designed to create the appearance of solving problems become sources of corruption and budget waste. And if you think the political theater couldn't get more ridiculous, Bremen CDU just demonstrated their position at a Christopher Street Day demonstration against a backdrop of a poster reading "Screw Merz." Several well-known politicians, including faction leader Wittke Winter, photographed themselves in front of this poster. The photo posted on LinkedIn was quickly deleted. CDU claimed they participated in the event to send a clear signal supporting diversity, tolerance, and the LGBTQ community. But the publication notes that this demonstration only emphasized the undesirability of CDU presence at the event. According to sources, there were verbal altercations between party functionaries and other demonstration participants. The publication also points out that in 2023, Wittke Winter already participated in Christopher Street Day, which took place against the backdrop of an anarchist black bloc glorifying violence against police. This incident clearly demonstrates how CDU tries to attract voters through political PR and performative tolerance, despite open rejection from movement activists, which ultimately just makes the party look ridiculous. This is the state of Germany today, folks, a country where violent criminals walk free while citizens trying to protect others get stabbed, where education collapses by double digits while politicians focus on foreign wars, where integration programs cost millions but achieve nothing except enriching consultants, where political parties embarrass themselves chasing votes from people who openly despise them. The ruling elites are avoiding responsibility and desperately trying to maintain a good face while playing a bad game as Germany slides into crisis. This isn't just about Germany, this is about the future of Europe and what happens when politicians prioritize everything except their own citizens. If this opened your eyes to what's really happening, smash that like button, subscribe for more uncensored analysis, and consider supporting this channel. We need independent voices now more than ever because the mainstream won't tell you these truths. truths. What do you think about Germany's political crisis? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep this conversation going.